Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for
Have
this.
you voted both twice?
I have voted, yeah.
Right.
I have already voted. And have you voted?
Just once.
Okay, beautiful. Me too. So thank you. Thank you all so much. In 2021, a malicious actor hacked into a water treatment facility in Florida and increased the level of lye, an ingredient used in soap and fertilizer, in the water by over 11,000%. Fortunately, an operator noticed the intrusion, and that attack was a wake-up call. Strengthening the security of our clean water and wastewater systems is a complex task, but it starts with information. And that's why the Water Information Sharing and Analysis Center, or Water ISAC, is so important. Mr. Heyman, can you briefly explain to the committee the benefits of Water ISAC for water utilities, information sharing for utilities? Your microphone, yes.
The old adage that information is power comes to mind. Basically, the Water ISAC, by being a member with that organization, information regarding cybersecurity or weather issues, climate change issues, all come to one depository. So it's gathered, it's analyzed, it's distributed, and it ends up helping those who are members of it in being able to make analysis and make the right decisions. After the recent train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, Water ISAC disseminated a bevy of information to nearby communities about risks to water quality and protective actions they could take. So it really gives them real-time information, and again, information is power.
Thank you. Absolutely. Last week, I introduced the Water System Threat Preparedness and Resilience Act, which would provide funding for clean water and wastewater utilities to become members of Water ISAC. My legislation fills the critical funding gap for small water utilities to join this critical information sharing network and helps expand access to essential resources. Mr. Heyman, do you agree that Congress should pass the legislation so that we should increase the information sharing, smaller utilities gain access to this information as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because the more organizations are able to have access to it, the better we are able to protect the health and safety of everyone.
Yeah. So these small water agencies, they deserve that
Absolutely.
same kind of information.
Because often they're left out and they need it the most. And so anything that opens up that door of opportunity, we should do.
Exactly. And what we just saw in East Palestine is a small community that had a terrible disaster.
Absolutely.
And so we don't need small water systems left out because they serve populations that could have the same kind of catastrophic circumstances. So thank you for protecting our infrastructure. Samuel Taylor Coleridge, he, in a poem, said, "Water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink." And Coleridge was right. We all have a thirst for clean and safe drinking water, yet too many Americans go without access to it. In the wake of aging pipes and monitoring systems nationwide, small and disadvantaged communities face additional barriers to safe drinking water without the support needed to overcome them. Communities of color are 40% more likely to have drinking water systems that consistently fail to meet safety standards in our country. And to address that clog in the system in 2019, I introduced the CLEAR Act, legislation to provide more support for disadvantaged communities with additional financial assistance for new provisions allowing communities to purchase filters or higher technical expertise. And I was very glad to see these key provisions included in the bipartisan infrastructure law. And thanks to the leadership of our chair and our bipartisan work with the administration, this funding and other resources are getting out the door and into our pipes. More than $10 million in EPA funding has been awarded, for example, to Fall River, Massachusetts, after decades of neglect to help remove lead service lines throughout the city. So again, Mr. Heyman, will more appropriated funds for the small, underserved, and disadvantaged communities grant program help more of those communities to get the safe drinking water which they're entitled to, as well as the large cities?
Absolutely. And it's because the needs of our water utilities are large and expanding. They do not simply stop, they are not stagnant. For example, in the last 15 years, we've had about 700 water main breaks. And that means in the last 5 years, it's been what, 7,000, I mean to say, or 4,000, I should say, water main breaks. They need to be repaired. We have, again, with our water revitalization plan, we have to basically tear down one treatment plant and rebuild it. And so these are expensive projects that need to be done because so much of our system is at the end of life. And so if we're able to receive grants, that helps. Any monies that we receive allow us to lessen the burden that's placed on our citizens, our customers.
Yeah, so only $30 million was appropriated last year for small and disadvantaged communities, even though $60 million was authorized in the bipartisan law. So we have to work harder. We have to get that money so that the smaller communities, the disadvantaged communities in our country, get the protections that they deserve for their water supply as well. So thank you all so much for all your great work. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Heyman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.